Welcome, viewers, to the Broward County Bar Association's Meet Our Sponsors. In this episode, we will be speaking with Aaron Wallace, Marketing Director of Florida Lawyers Mutual Insurance Company. Welcome, Aaron.
Thanks, Braulio. Thanks for having me here.
Wonderful, excited. So let's get to it. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about FLMIC? What exactly does it do for attorneys?
Sure. Yeah. So Florida Lawyers Mutual Insurance Company, or as we like to say, FLMIC, we are a company that does just one thing. We provide high quality lawyers professional liability insurance specifically for lawyers in Florida. So we have that very specific focus. And I think that sets us apart from the larger commercial entities that are operating not only in Florida, but often across multiple states, across multiple lines and types of insurance. Whereas for us, our whole world is Florida lawyers. And so we are really focused on, what does a lawyer need and on building relationships with Florida lawyers, not only to protect them from a claims perspective, but also to really think about lawyer well-being, because we think that those are all part of the same picture, right? At the end of the day, a happy lawyer is a careful lawyer, is an excellent lawyer. And so we are mindful as a company, as a team, of all of those things as part of the same picture.
Wonderful. And that's a perfect segue. You're talking about your people. Tell us little bit about your FLMIC team, about your company culture, philosophy, values, and how does that translate into providing great customer service?
Sure. We have a great team at FLMIC, people who are just the depth of experience, the level of professionalism. It's people I love to work with. I'm so proud to work with them. And, I would like to highlight first our underwriting team, our great, wonderful underwriting team. So we are the only direct right provider of lawyers professional liability insurance in Florida. And so what that means is if you're a lawyer, maybe you're in a solo or small practice, or maybe you're in a mid-sized firm, or whatever the case may be, you can contact our company and talk directly to the underwriter who would be your underwriter, for your relationship with our company. And so you can talk to them about the coverage you need. You can place that coverage directly with the underwriter. And so as a result of that, what we have found is, because so many of our underwriters have been with the company for such a long tenure, that over the course of many years, our member lawyers have come to forge these one-on-one relationships. And we hear so often that makes all the difference in the world, because when there's a change in your practice, or you're thinking about a change in your practice, or an issue comes up, or you have a question about your policy, your coverage, you can call someone who and they know you, they know your practice, they know your practice history. And so that relationship, I think, is really kind of a unique benefit that we're able to offer to our members. And I'd be remiss not to also mention our claims team, because we have claims specialists who have been in the Florida legal space for a really long time. They know the market, they know the lawyers around the state, and they're local. So again, talking about the difference between FLMIC being a Florida specific focus versus some of these larger multi-state providers, you want to fast forward if you're practicing law. And I know no one thinks that they're ever going to face a claim, and no one wants to think about the possibility of facing a claim, but you want to fast forward in your mind and think, if God forbid that does ever happen, whether it's a claim with merit or a claim without merit, who are you going to call, and who's going to pick up the phone? Is it going to be someone here in Florida, or is it an 800 number and you're talking to somebody in Texas or Nevada, or whatever the case may be? And so we think it's important to have someone with boots on the ground, located centrally in Florida, so that they're never more than a few hours away, and they can really give you sort of the hands-on attention that you're going to want if you find yourself in that precarious situation. And I know that our claims team they're really focused on the lawyer's perspective. So one thing I'm always talking about when I'm out speaking at events and meeting lawyers around the state is the notion that a malpractice claim is inherently personal. Whether it's ultimately successful or not, you're talking about a potential disruption to your daily practice throughout the course of that resolution process. And you're talking about really potential reputational damage. And that's something that we as lawyers have all spent an entire lifetime and a career working toward. I mean, that's it. That's the whole brand, right? Is your reputation. It's everything. And so whatever the ultimate disposition of a claim may end up being, I think you want the approach to resolution to be informed by your perspective on the situation as the lawyer with respect to reputational concern. And so I just have so much respect for our claims team for approaching it with that value set in mind.
Well, with that approach, it sounds like you guys likely have received a lot of recognition throughout the state. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about that recognition that FLMIC has received.
Sure. Thank you for asking. I guess the first thing I would want to highlight is our AM Best rating. So a lot of people watching will probably know, AM Best is the name in terms of credit rating for insurance companies. And we are proud to be A rated. So what that means is a highly respected, objective outside organization has come in and taken a close study of the company, its operations, and particularly its financial standing, and rendered an opinion on that financial standing. And in our case, the opinion that has been rendered is that we have excellent financial strength. So it's an A rating. And that is a rating that we have had year after year for quite some time now. And it's not something that every insurance company has. And so we're very proud of it. And we think that it can confer to the member lawyer a high degree of confidence in terms of stability, reliability, and financial strength. In terms of recognition, Braulio, the other thing I'd want to mention, especially talking to you, is that we're honored to be the only provider of lawyers' professional liability insurance recommended by the Florida Bar. And also by voluntary bars. We're recommended by Broward County Bar Association. And we hear from your members, who say, hey, we were looking for a provider and we found you through BCBA. And we, as a result of that, have these great relationships, so many relationships there in Broward County, in addition to the relationship that we have with you and your organization. And so we're really just truly honored by that.
Well, we are definitely proud, and as the exec, I'm very proud that FLMIC is that exclusive and recommended medical, not medical, but legal malpractice insurance provider for us. You guys you have an impeccable reputation. You treat our members well. You respond quickly. So it's a mutual respect, and we're honored to have you guys as a partner.
Well, thank you for saying that. That means the world to us.
So that's a perfect segue into, and I know I kind of already answered it, and you have in our discussion, but tell us a little bit about what sets FLMIC apart from other companies.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as you mentioned, I highlighted earlier what sets us apart from some of the larger multi-state commercial carriers. I'd just like to highlight, when I say commercial carrier, that distinction is that we are a mutual company. So what that means is we are actually owned by the Florida lawyers who we insure. And so, we don't even really use the term policyholder. I mean, we think of and refer to our insured lawyers as members. Because that is truly what they are. They're members of the company and they're members of the FLMIC family. And so we try to foster that kind of relationship in all of our interactions with our insurers. And so, we're looking out for Florida lawyers, not only specifically in terms of policy terms, but more broadly speaking, with risk management education, wanting to keep Florida lawyers alert, informed, aware of what's happening, aware of emerging risks, particularly on the cyber front. I mean, as I think lawyers are learning increasingly, particularly in this new COVID virtual environment, the cyber risks out there are just ever changing, constantly evolving. And so we want to keep lawyers aware of that and informed. And so we work hard to keep our members informed. And so that's really sort of our philosophy.
And I know you do an excellent job at that. I also know that you're very engaged in our community. Can you elaborate a little bit about FLMIC's community involvement, volunteering, advocacy, so forth?
Sure. Well, we are are really champions of diversity in law. And I think that's something that we're seeing really increased focus on in recent years just across the bar community in our state, and we're proud to be a part of that. And so we sponsor, across our voluntary bar partners, we sponsor diversity initiatives, diversity programs. We are very proud to sponsor, statewide, the Virgil Hawkins Florida Chapter National Bar Association, uh, advocating and promoting, the role of Black lawyers in the statewide practice, and the Florida Association for Women Lawyers as well. There's the great diversity membership luncheon up in the Tampa area every year, and we're proud to be, sponsors of that. And also in our messaging and our educational efforts, always with an eye toward advancing, and promoting, diversity. We try to be stewards of all the communities that we're involved in. And so we do that through partnering with you, Braulio, and some of the other great bar organizations in our state, going into some of the smaller communities and providing free seminars, and where maybe sometimes those smaller segments don't get that kind of educational outreach. So we're trying to do that, as often as we can. And locally, FLMIC's offices are headquartered in Oviedo. And so we are, longtime supporters of the Oviedo Winter Springs Regional Chamber of Commerce. And then we try to spread out from there and be as involved as we can, not only with the state bar, but in all of our local communities.
Wonderful. So, is there anything else you'd like to tell us about FLMIC before we sign off here?
Well, I would just say that we want to know you. We believe that we have policy features and member benefits that, I mean, not only set us apart on paper, but differences that matter, are meaningful to Florida lawyers. And I know that when you're talking about professional liability insurance, as a lawyer, you can just kind of glaze over because it's not something we learn about in law school necessarily. It's not something that is really even integral always to the day-to-day practice of law. And it's one of those subject matters where there's a lot to know about it. But if you don't know a lot about it, then it's easy to just sort of say, well, just give me a policy without focusing on what's included in that policy and what are the terms. But the details are truly significant, when the rubber hits the road. And so I would invite everyone to come visit us online at our website, flimic.com. We just relaunched it. There's lots of great free resources there. Additionally, we have a whole library of hours and hours and hours of free CLE programming that's exclusive to our members. And there's some free CLE for everyone else on there too. But one thing I want to highlight on our website is a web page entitled, How We're Different. And you'll see there's a big shiny button when you arrive at our website. You click on that, and you'll see sort of an outline of a lot of these differentiators that I think are of real pertinence to anyone practicing law in Florida. So come check us out and reach out. We want to get to know you.
Outstanding. And I highly recommend it. I know that I've referred many of our members to you all, and it was a quick response, and everyone's been pleased. Aaron, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I've enjoyed it. I've been educated. I know our viewers have been educated too.
Thanks so much, Braulio. Appreciate it.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.